Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Taos, Baltimore. We are Baltimore positive. We're positively into the summer months. Luke has been covering mini camp. That's now over with. We're trying to get back into this pennant race. We're covering all that. And rock and roll's out on the road. And, every summer that Hootie and the Blowfish does not go on tour, a little of my blood is spilled, but I did get a text, and I was listening to Tucker's Town on my iPod. Yes, I have an iPod with a freaking cord. It's a classic, and I had a playlist going and stuff. And literally, my phone went off, and I looked down, and I'm like, "How is it that Mark Bryan texts me in the middle of listening to Tucker's Town?" And he said, "I'm in town Friday. Come see the show." Mark Bryan joins us now. Is it okay to call you Mark Bryan of Hootie and the Blowfish? That's not a solo artist, and you got Screaming Trojans, but you'll always be of Hootie to me, Mark.
It's only accurate, is what it is.
Well, how are you? How's your golf game? Forget the band and all. Let's get to the important stuff. How's your golf game?
I'm well, and I shot 86 today.
That good or bad for you? I'm just asking.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah, that's average.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just like par down the. So you were not inspired on Father's Day by anything that happened at Oakmont. That it didn't raise your game for a few days like it does for some players.
No, it raised my love for the game. That's for sure. It was that was spectacular to watch, and I watch enough golf to know that was the hardest golf course that those guys play on any given week. I mean, that's the hardest one of the year for sure.
Have you played Oakmont?
I haven't. I got a good buddy that's a member, and I plan to, but I have yet to. Which as I saw this last week, I'm not in any hurry.
well, hang on, man. Like you're known for the Masters and throwing parties and just all that stuff. You guys shouted me out and Jacksonville at the Super Bowl 20 years ago on the golf course on 17 and Ponte Vedra and all that. Do you have bucket list places left? I mean, yeah, I would think if you wanted to play St. Andrews, you've done it by now. You guys
would be one of them for sure. I think it's something I would want to play a lot of times based on what I saw. It's a kind of course that somebody like me who's just a little bit higher handicapper is going to eat you up. So I don't want to do too much of that to myself. I want to enjoy the game. But that said, I want to go around the world and play the world's most challenging and famous courses because there's a reason everyone loves them so much. They're on a piece of land that can only be done that way and that kind of thing. And so there's art to it, and I love that part of the game.
How many? 5 days a week for you? How many for you?
Oh, no. Maybe once a week.
Oh, okay. I thought this was beyond like when you weren't playing, that's what you guys were doing. Because you were doing that out on tour with your guys.
It is one of my main hobbies for sure, but I don't play. I only play about 1 day a week. I've been busy lately with shows, and I'm always making music, and that's kind of always I find myself that being my priority. We do what we love, right? And so the music's first, and I slip golf in there once a week or so.
Mark Bryan is here. He will be at the Atlantis, which is a venue I haven't been to yet. They reopened it in the last couple of years, and it was a lot of big bands playing. It was hard to get tickets and whatnot. Give me where you are, because I went to your website when I heard from you, because I listen to Hootie all the time. You know that. I'm that guy. And I went up listening to your solo music, and I'm like, this has got like a little ska thing going on. This is a little different, maybe even than what I remember you doing 20 years ago, even 15 years ago.
That one song, To You, My Friend, is definitely in that direction of ska. And then there's another one that Keep the Light On that's kind of a reggae vibe. And then there's Don't Change a Thing that's got a Latin pop feel to it. And then there's, Place on the Dark Side that's as hard of a rock song as I've ever made. And then there's a few other little directions on there. And it's because I'm following the songs now. I'm not trying to make something that is this for this certain genre of radio or anything like that. It's just not thinking like that. And not that I ever was, but I just have the ability now as a musician to kind of follow the song anywhere it takes me. And it's really fun, Nestor.
Was it? I don't want to go behind the music on you, but back when things were pressure packed and there were arenas full and labels with money and all that, did you have to write hits? Was that like imperative?
I think the band felt like we did, or felt like it's not that we didn't feel like we had to. It's like we were trying to instead of just letting them come. I think that happened after a while. And I think it happens to anyone in our position. And that doesn't mean we didn't still make great records, but I think we did feel a little bit of that pressure of like, it has to be a hit here and there. And that doesn't mean we didn't still go deep on our albums and write from our hearts. And we did, you just never know how it's going to go. It's a crazy industry.
Well, yeah, and within your band, and obviously with Darius's departure toward the countryside and whatnot, you guys have explored a lot of genres of music, even just going back to what things you would cover on any given night, from
100%.
from gospel songs to disco songs to rap songs. You were pretty good at mixing different things. Like, you throw a Commodore song in there if you want to. You guys had a wide variety of music, so maybe I shouldn't be shocked by you playing the whole phone book of early MTV 80s, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I go back to following the song, and the song tells me whether it's the lyrics I'm writing or that particular musical groove that I come up with. It'll tell me where to go, and I'm having fun with that as an artist. And I think ultimately I'm making more, the music I'm making is more timeless for that, rather than trying to make something that's going to fit in now. Especially as a 58-year-old, it's like, I've realized several years ago that there's no, at this age, it's not like the pop world is looking for an artist like me. So I'm able to expand my horizons a little bit and take what I do. This is my gift that I've been given, man, and I get to take it and express it in a way that can try to make people feel something. And that's my goal with this. I want people to be affected by my music the same way I'm affected by all of my favorite music that affects me and helps me through life, you know. And so I'm trying to do my part with that, and I don't feel limited to any genre with that.
Mark Bryan is the guitar player for Hootie and the Blowfish. He's also leading his troops into the Atlantis, and he'll be playing down in South Carolina as well. If you find this out on the internet, you can always find the work he does at markbryanmusic.com. Screaming Trojans and playing the Atlantis. And people say, why is he playing up here? Well, a lot of folks don't. They think of you South Carolina guys. You've been branded that way over like 3 decades now. But a lot of folks don't know about you, don't know about Dean and background at Silver Spring. And I even have a little piece of Terps trivia I'll throw in. But the local part of this is you're coming up here to play for your people, as you say, right?
Yeah, man. I grew up in Montgomery County, and so it's always fun to do a show up there somewhere somehow, and it's like it becomes a reunion. You know, everybody gets together for it, and we play songs from the past, and I get to play my new stuff too. It's just, and we do some of the Hootie hits, and I'm doing 2 sets of music, and within them I'll probably do a total of almost 7 Hootie songs.
So if people
Without
want to hear some Hootie, they're going to get that too.
100%. And yeah, and then there's a few select covers that make the night really fun. Got some great singers with me. Got some horns this time around, which is new for me. But
Well, you're bringing like a troupe. How many people are in a band? Fill me in on
yeah,
this.
yeah. So in the main band that's been playing the Windjammer and everything, it's let's see, one, two, three, four, oh,
For
five,
those of you on radio, he's doing the math. He's
eight.
adding it up in his head around.
It's eight people. Yeah, I've got a bass and drums and keyboard, and then I got a buddy playing some slide lead guitar with me, doing harmony leads and stuff, and then 3 horns.
So how does that work for you to envision music on your own, to bring in, I'm sure at this point you're 58, we've admitted this, I'm 56, friends. You're bringing in people you like, that you want to hang out with. You're not touring stadiums. You have a band for that.
That's right.
you,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
I'm also picking really great musicians that can play the parts. And now that, like you said earlier, my songs are kind of all over the map stylistically. It's nice to have guys that can do that. That can play, anything I throw at them, cover wise or whatever. Plus the horns, and we have another guy that's doing horn arrangements for me and that kind of thing. So that's tight, and it's a really good show. And so the whole idea is to create a really entertaining set list, and then have the guys that can pull it off, and it's really fun. And I've got, I'm now taking it seriously as a front man. I kind of never did before. Like it was always doing it on the side of Hootie and the Blowfish and just finding a way to play my songs. But the less that Hootie is active, when we're on these like 5-year hiatuses and stuff, it's more, I'm realizing more, hey, this is a chance for me to go ahead and figure out how to do this as a front man and really present my songs in a cool way. And so it's the best set of music I've ever played live as a solo guy before. And also my voice it sounds better than it ever has. I'm playing guitar as well as I ever have. I have really good musicians around me. So it's like something I could take on the road if I wanted to in the future. And this year I'm only doing 4 shows, and the Windjammer and up in DC, and I'm playing Greenville the night after DC, actually, South Carolina. So, and that's it. And then I played Myrtle Beach, and that's it, man. So we'll see where it leads.
Well, where does it lead? I mean, for the band and for you, and you said being the front man in the band. I would think when you were a kid that was what it was, and I've seen you, and I mean, you were
It's funny.
sliding
I didn't
tapes
have.
my way over 20 or 30 years when you're doing solo stuff. You've done
Yeah.
Jumpin' Java, you've done
You
know
know,
you've
when I
done
was a
little
kid,
things.
I was always inspired more by Jimmy Page, Pete Townsend, Mark Knopfler, although he was a front man, more just the songwriting and guitar aspect. And as much as I love Springsteen, it was more about the songs. Didn't want to be like the front guy like Bruce. I was more just like always. I loved Little Steven and Niels Lofgren, and so I've always been really comfortable in that support role, and I think I add a lot to a band with that. That's one of my true gifts. But if that band isn't happening, which we aren't at this age, we're just kind of intermittent, then I'm finding a way to present my songs. That's what it comes down to. And it's fun to entertain people. It's fun to make a really, entertaining set of music that everyone comes and joins together for. And I've had that happen now on a couple occasions, and I'm fired up.
How do you sit and write these days? And are some of this stuff, did you write some of this 15, 20 years ago and find it in notebooks, or are you
That
that
happens.
kind of
That
writer?
happens, but that's kind of rare when you find one that's like that hangs out that long. It's probably a damn good idea if it hung out that long. But that does happen. But no more. It's more you're paying attention to what's going on around you, and then that's a lot of how I am as an artist. I feel something about things that are going on around me. It could be anything, and if it's important to me, something will come through me that in a way that I want to convey it to you, and that's where it starts, and that's that kind of energy.
Mark Bryan is here. He is the guitarist from Hootie and The Blowfish, but for now, he is the lead guy in the band called the Screaming Trojans.
Well, hold on.
What's
So
no?
real
No,
quick.
hold on. Go ahead.
So I'm touring as Mark Bryan, but
Okay.
in DC, the opening act is the Screaming
I
Trojans.
okay.
Yes, and Screaming Trojans are my buddies from Maryland that I grew up with.
I knew this because the last time I
And
had you
that's
on,
right.
you told me.
You've talked
That's why
about it
it's not
before.
new to me. What is
So
this?
I always play DC with those guys. So I'm having them do the first set. I'm doing the first set with those guys, and then I'm doing the second set with the big band with the horns and everything. So
So
that's
none of
how
the
it works.
Screaming Trojan guys are in your current band.
No, they are the band that I jam with when we do the DC shows, and then we are starting to record songs. We have one song that we've released with as the Screaming Trojans, and we've got a few more lined up. So it is an active band, but it's Mark Bryan and Screaming Trojans is separate from Mark Bryan as a solo artist.
All right. Well, Mark Bryan is a solo artist. Is what we're here to represent today. All right. I want to finish up with music because we got to get to sports. Because I mean, I've known you 30 years, and your football team finally has gotten like decent. I want to give you at least a chance
Yes.
to take a victory lap here. You played a week further
I'm
than we did
so
last year.
excited about our upcoming Super Bowl against the Ravens. I can't wait.
Yeah, so I'm in a collection period, and I think I told you this. I was collecting the late '70s Pacifica belt buckles, like the old Zeppelin belt buckles. You mentioned Jimi Hendrix and all that. I have all those belt buckles, but I've gotten into the early '70s belt buckles, and my favorite team was the Houston Oilers. So if you
Love
see
it.
here, so I did collect one of the R word. I do have one of these for you. I think it's the only thing I
Vintage,
have. Don't
vintage.
don't show this on the internet. If anybody sees that I actually have this, I got one for Darius here too, little
Love
Dolphins to
it.
make it.
Love
And
it.
then this was my childhood belt buckle because you
I
said
love this. I
Ravens.
can't wait to see this.
Well, it's the
Yes.
Baltimore Colts, right?
Johnny
You know what I
U,
mean?
dude. Johnny U. That's classic. Okay. So, how cool would it be a Skins Ravens Super Bowl next
Depends
year?
who wins.
Come
Ask me
on,
who
bro.
wins. Then
Wouldn't
I'll
that
tell
be
you
the
how.
best, dude? Because I just like, I think that'd be class. It would be a good way for everybody to come together, and whoever wins. But like, it would mean a lot to the area. I think if both teams could make it, it would be really cool.
Well, you had an album called Fairweather Johnson, right? So
We did.
Fairweather, you had Orioles and you had Redskins. I mean, that's like the daily double of effed up sports fandom for
We're
the
sure, dude.
largest chunk of your
You talk
life,
about it.
really.
You talk about a group of people that is held in there, man. Like this, me and anyone like me that grew up in around Moco and just had the Orioles Redskins thing since they were a kid, and we went through some really lean years. But last year was a great year for both teams, a really good year for both teams. And then there's great years ahead. I don't know what's going on with the O's, but we know there's great years ahead. So it's so much better to be in this place than it was to be 5, 10 years ago.
I love that you said I don't know what's up with the O's. I'm like, I could bring that up. It is a little disappointing, right? We thought we had
It
it.
is
You're still O's. You're
hugely.
not Nats, or are you split?
No, no. I mean, I would call the Nats my NL team, but like if they played each other in the World Series, I'd be O's just like I'd be Skins. Like. But I root for the Ravens. I root for the Nats. They're in the other conference in both situations, and I don't, we don't have to play them much or worry about them much. And they feel like home teams to me, so I don't root against them. But I'm just O's and Skins all the way through.
You never bottomed out and stopped watching the
I never
Washington
did.
football team. No, you
No,
watched.
I have. I have this hardcore group of friends that are just like me that we're never going to give up on it. So we would just laugh about it and try to keep talking about the bright spots. Like for a long time, we were laughing about the fact that we have the best punter in the league. We do. I mean, the guy's amazing for the Skins punter. You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember his name off the top of my
We're
head.
trying to get a kicker here in Baltimore.
Oh
So
my
yeah.
God, we've had the best punter in the league for the last 3 years, and we go off on that. We just stay positive.
Like your golf game, I would think at this point,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Mark Bryan is here. He's playing at the Atlantis on Friday night. Everybody should go see him. He threw me a text and I said, "Why don't you come on the show? We'll talk a little sports, talk a little bit of this, a little bit of that." So, what happens with this project? You're in this town. People can go see the music. The music's out on your website. I can be a part of it. What do you envision, and where's the band? I'd be unfair for you to say these long hiatuses and whatnot, but I hope you're going to go out as Hootie again, maybe next year, year after, whenever. But the band's not done, right? The band just next time around, right?
No, I mean we're not planning on being done in any way, but we also don't have any new album or tour on the horizon. The next thing that I think we're actively going to do is try to put something out for the 30th anniversary of Fairweather Johnson, which is next April. And so we're putting together a nice little collection for that, and conferring about that, which is kind of fun. And we just had Monday After the Masters last April, which was fun. So, we're always getting together for something here or there. And when the timing is right, we'll make another album. I mean, Darius is living over in England now, so I don't know that there's a new album coming anytime soon, but you never know, man. You just never know.
Well, the last couple times you guys have gone out, it's been big and done right and done well.
You're
I
damn
saw,
right.
I mean, both times you went out for real. I saw you several times, and that's a tribute. My wife saw you last year in Hershey on crutches, like she
I remember
broke her
that.
ankle and came up. I mean, she's on a wheelie at the Hershey Park Stadium
I
to
remember.
see you, and then 2 weeks later we went back down to Meriwether. She was walking, so it was good. But
That's right.
when you do go out, there is a thing about like all in, all out summer camp. McCain's there. I mean, it really was memorable, and I'll say
Yeah,
that as a
man.
fan
Thanks
of
for saying.
yours.
I totally agree. And we had Collective Soul too last time, and all those bands, including Hootie, we sound as good as we did in the '90s. Or I really honestly feel like Hootie's is good or better than we were in the '90s. I know I'm a better player than I was back then. Not that I was bad back then. It's just I know more. I'm better at it now. I know I'm a better singer. So it's kind of cool. It's like we're in a really good place where we can still do our thing, and maybe it sounds as good or better than ever.
Well, I'm glad your thing's at the Atlantis on Friday night. Mark Bryan of Hootie and the Blowfish, of Mark Bryan, supported by the Screaming Trojans,
Hey, are you
friends
going
with
to
the
make it
Screaming
out?
Trojans.
You keep mentioning that I texted you, but I haven't heard if you can make it to the show yet.
Here's where I am on Friday. I had a soft commitment that I am trying to remove myself from, including a Keith Urban show on Thursday night as well with my wife. And
Well,
I'm going to remove myself. And I'll tell you this, it won't be because the Orioles are playing the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. I will not be
oh,
there.
okay.
Okay. So I will not use the Orioles as an excuse. So
Wouldn't have minded that one, but if you need to bring the friends, bring the people that you were like, bring them all. Come on, let's make it a party.
bring the people for some songs of Hootie and the Blowfish, some ska, some reggae, some rock, some soul.
Some old Hootie, it's all feel good. All of it's feel good.
And a big band on stage there. You know what? I haven't been to Atlantis. I got to get down to DC. I got a little restaurant I want to check out down there, especially a little bit of pizza as well. Mark Bryan can be found at Mark Bryan Music or on a golf course once a week. And if there's a guy at a Commanders a Ravens Super Bowl next year, where is the Super Bowl now? I don't even know where it is.
I don't know.
If there's a guy there wearing a full Joe Gibbs kind of John Riggins headdress, it's probably Mark Bryan because you're never giving
That's
him
right.
up. I've tried to lure you onto this side of the thing forever, but at least we have the Orioles together,
All
right?
respect, but I'm hanging with the Skins, baby.
Mark Bryan of Hootie and The Blowfish. The song was Tucker's Town. The text came in. The show's at the Atlantis on Friday night. Get out and see the band. You'll be happy you did. I'm
Thanks,
Nestor.
Nestor.
Crab Cake's up for you next time in here. The Maryland Crab Cake Tour
That's
out
right.
Reisterstown next week. All are brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I'll have the Back to the Future scratch-offs when we are at Readers next week, and we're going to the new Costas up in Timonium on July 10th. I'm back for more. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore positive and Hootie and the Blowfish.